This is the Padua Podcast Network. I just yesterday rejoined the gym that I had quit at the end of last year. Running a Fever, episode 262, Shattering the Yo-Yo, Injury Report. Previously on Running a Fever. It's been 3 weeks since I did a podcast, and it's been 3 weeks since I worked out. And the reason, if you've been listening, you know, is that I injured myself. No doubt exacerbated and complicated the injury that I had, because I was climbing on a ladder and doing all sorts of moving around that I shouldn't be doing. When you feel something, scale back, go back and slow down. Don't, this isn't the kind of pain that you need to want to work through. Again, I'm learning in this process, and that's why I call it a journey, because I'm learning, and I know that things like this happen, and I have to just kind of learn from my mistakes, go back and do things differently. And so that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to go on a serious diet because it's kind of motivated by this contest we have at work. Hello and welcome to Running a Fever. My name is Michael Davis, and this is a podcast about fitness, diet, and medicine. I want to help you, and I want to live a long, healthy, happy, active life right up to the very end. So if you want that too, you're in the right place. And here we are, as you heard in the, first of all, a little update on what's going on. First of all, what's going on with COVID is basically we're just about back to normal. I'm not going to work, going into work on a regular basis. My company has a plan for that, but it starts in a couple of weeks or so. And I don't know if I'm going to be going back. I'm going to coordinate with my coworkers on that. But basically, you can go anywhere pretty much without a mask. There are still some places like my parents live in an assisted living facility where masks are still required. I just yesterday rejoined the gym that I had quit at the end of last year because, I decided I would keep paying my dues for the rest of the year just because, I was trying to be helpful to businesses that might have been hurt by the pandemic. But I've rejoined, and now there's obviously no mask required in there. So that's a good sign, and I need to kind of start going back in the gym. I'm in the studio today, and I'm not walking. I walked at one time, and I was kind of limping. You can see on the video that I was limping. And so I've got a problem, and that kind of segs into what we're going to talk about this year in a bunch of episodes. I don't want to take this metaphor too far because, I'm definitely capable of doing that. But there's this idea of the yo-yo diet, and what that means is, you're like a yo-yo. This is a toy that goes up and down a string. You can be up in weight and then down in weight, and then you go up and down and up and down. And there are harmful effects of that, but mainly it's just frustrating to lose a lot of weight and then gain it back, as if, all of that, effort has gone to waste. Well, I want to stop that because obviously I lost a lot of weight, and I actually kept it off for quite a long time, maybe a year. And, I don't want to blame COVID, but, last year was I gained a lot of weight last year. And, some of the problems that I'm dealing with are due to that. Now, I want to, I was trying to think of a good way to do this. Like when the yo-yo's down, cut the string. That's what I'm saying. And then I was thinking, why not just shatter the yo-yo altogether so it doesn't even exist? It can't roll around on the floor anyway, but again, I'm taking a metaphor too far. And So that's the idea, shattering the yo-yo and just stopping and continuing at our ideal weight and body fat. So with that in mind, I'm going back to 2018 and I'm looking at the episodes. I was trying to think of, well, how can I, what's a good guideline for how to lose weight and how to do it the right way? And I was thinking, wow, there's this great podcast called Running a Fever. And, they went through that. And in 2018, and so that's what I'm doing. This is my journey of weight loss and fat loss through this year. And you probably still hear my stomach growling because I'm on I'm trying out some fasting. And right now I'm kind of going most of the day and just eating kind of one meal and trying to keep that one meal a moderate meal. I still eat kind of really, really just a little bit of stuff around lunchtime. But so I'm just going to keep working through this because frankly, this is really up to date because this episode is going to drop less than 12 hours from now. So, as you heard in the previously on section, in the first episode that I recorded in 2018, several things were going on. One was I wasn't walking, just like now. I had an injury that I had gotten in late 2017, and I'd even, been to the doctor and gotten x-rays and all that stuff. So what I found was a few things. One, working through an injury doesn't really, or if it's a serious enough injury, it doesn't really work. So sometimes you just have to rest, and then there's rehabilitation. I have had injuries from time to time, ankle problems here and there, back problems that I've had to kind of stop for a while. And another thing I was doing there was I was expressing gratitude for the fact that I can move around, that and that's what you do when you don't have that ability. That's when you really start to appreciate it. Appreciate, being able to exercise. So the lessons learned were kind of take it easy. And in that case, I decided not to run anymore. I'm just not going to run. It's too damaging to me and not really helping me that much. More so than walking. Let's just put it that way. I also mentioned the Biggest Loser contest, which I was in there for an entire year. Well, not an entire year. I talked about it for a year, but I was really only in it for like 12, 13 weeks, something like that. But I was just going to start that. And so I've learned that that's kind of not the thing. And there's been a couple more since then that I've not participated in. So, one of them, I kind of helped out in coordinating it. But the other one is just, I just decided not to participate at all. I don't think it's a really good idea. But I do know that my problems now stem from my weight and not necessarily fat. It could be any kind of weight on me, muscle, bone, whatever, that's causing the pressure to be put on my infrastructure, so to speak. So that's what's going on now. As always, if you got the fever, keep it. If you don't, catch the fever, and I'll talk to you next time on Running a Fever.